What's up, Wargamers? Welcome back to World of Wargaming. I'm Isaiah. Today we're going to get into our very first game of Don't Look Back from author Matt Burns and publisher Blacksite Studios. The game of solo slash co-op, I guess you could play it co-op too, slasher movie survival. Really excited for this. We're going to be playing the first plot, which is called Camping. Before we do that, if you haven't considered hitting that like, subscribe, or bell notification button so you can get notified whenever I post new content, which is usually every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Please consider doing so because it does help the channel grow and it helps us escape the killer. And let's get into this game of Don't Look Back. Alright folks, so we got our 3x3 table set up, ready to get into our very first game on camera of Don't Look Back. So the first thing we got to do is assemble the cast, the players that we're going to have. So I've got the cards here. I'm going to do my best. Unfortunately, they do have names on front and back, so I'm going to put my hand down here. I'm going to put my eyes that way. We're going to draw 4 of these. We're going to take that one, and 2, and 3, and nope, that's a ruler. That's a rule book. 4. So I've got Seth, Denise, Holden, and Ranger. Now, real quick, when we look at the cards, we got a move of 3 with the combat and awareness. You're rolling a d20, and you're looking for that number or less. Sometimes you will have modifiers, which we'll talk about modifiers when we see them. Fright is the maximum number of these you can have, terror tokens, before you start taking penalties. If you ever have double your fright value in terror tokens, you will be taken down and removed from the game. Luck is a resource that you have that you can use for several different things, re-rolling dice, things like that. You can take up to 10 wounds unless something says otherwise, and everybody has some little special things that we'll talk about when we get into activating them. For this game, we've got 3 points of interest, 1 in the back of Ranger Sandy's truck, 1 in the well, and 1 on the bridge leading over into the porta potty section. Now, we've also got 4 fright tokens that we start with. 1 in the center here, here, in the well, and very, very close to our cast's camp. This first mission is a maximum of 12 turns. It is my goal to get from this 4x4 campsite down to this corner of the board, 4x4 corner of the board, to the road to try to flag down help to help us get out of here. We got a few special rules for the scenario. So we have mounting terror. So once I leave this quadrant of the board, the map in the book is labeled as you have quadrants A, B, C, and D, and it refers to them as far as like where to place things and stuff like that, but they're always the same. It's always A, B, C, D. Once I leave A, I take an extra terror every time I activate. On 10 turn, a supporting turn 10 turn. On turn 10, a supporting character could potentially show up, which we'll talk about that when we get to it. And if we're still around then, it has to be placed in contact with a point of interest. The last one is help is on the way, which says that the supporting character will show up on turn 10. I place 1 light token here. Fright token, if a fright token moves into a light token, it's removed, and the killers will just not move into the light token. But the lights turn on and off every turn during the fright phase. So that's something else to consider. They're not always on. And then we've got our objective to get out of the camping grounds. And then we've got our killer. Now in this scenario, it gives you a themed killer named Grayson. And Grayson has always been fond of this camp, even after his accident so many years ago. This is my Grayson model. This was an incredibly difficult decision for me because it gives you a few different options in the kit as far as how to build your killer. And I couldn't make up my mind, so I turned to my friends in the Patreon and this Patreon Discord, and they helped me out with just making a decision for me. So guys, I appreciate y'all for all that you do. When it comes to your killer, I think most of the missions will give you a themed killer, or you can draw randomly for the traits and MO that your killer has. I'm going to be playing with the theme killers, for now anyways. So I have my MO, my modus operandi, which is 1 step ahead, and it means that when the killer is placed, he gets placed 6 inches from the characters and in the open as close to the center of the board section that has the most characters in it. He will move towards the closest character. In the case of a tie, the players may choose. His traits are Relentless, which is when rolling for fright tokens each turn, I add +2 to the roll until the killer is revealed. And Dead Eyes. Characters that activate within line of sight of this killer gain +1 terror. Also, it gives us the visage for our killer Grayson, which is terrifying. This has his attacks, special actions, stuff like that. When he is driven off, or if the killer is driven off, all characters may remove 1 additional terror point. When a mutilated killer takes injuries, he takes 2 less damage to a minimum of 1. Luckily, I do have Holden in his shotgun, if he can hit. He has 2 attacks, the Various Blades, which is combat 15 and targeted, and then he has Wild Swings, which will just kind of hit people that are within that 2-inch bubble of him as he's swinging at his main target. So hopefully he won't murderate us too quickly. Maybe I can actually get somebody down. I have beat this scenario once. I've played it 2 or 3 times. I've beaten it once. But I've also been, that's a lot of time trying to figure out things. And I think I've got a pretty solid understanding of the rules at this point. So anyways, I'm going to place my guys, and we're going to get into turn 1. One other thing before we get into it. These big areas here are area terrain. They will trigger jump scares if I end or pass my movement passes within 2 inches. The very first thing we do in the turn is the fright phase. And the first thing we do in the fright phase is roll for fright tokens. So normally on turn 1, you would need a 10 or higher to do stuff with the fright tokens. I currently, because of the killer's trait, need on an 8 or more. That's a 6, so nothing will happen. But if something had happened, we would come over here, and for each fright token, we would roll on this chart. On a 1 to 3, we just flip all the lights within 6. Nothing happens really. On a 4 to 8, it'll move 6 inches towards the closest character. And on a 9 or 10, it will spawn a killer, or the killer. Next in the fright phase, we would spawn fright tokens if there were none on the board, which we currently have fright tokens, so we can skip that. Then we come to the killer phase. Now the killer is not currently on the board, so we're not going to talk about what he does yet. We'll wait until he shows up for that. We do, however, during the killer phase, flip the lights. So that light token up there will turn off, and as soon as I clear everybody off of it, I will flip it over. When you activate a character, you can either choose to do 2 quick actions, or a quick action and a long action, but you have to do the quick action before the long action. And it gives you a good little chart near the back of the book. The quick references in this book are phenomenal. Great job. So you got your quick actions, things like move. Let me take a look at it, where you can heal somebody, breaking down doors, distracting stuff, stumbling away from a killer, standing up, etc. And then our long actions, which are things like investigating, range combat, melee combat, fending off, it's nothing to see, take a breath, 7 minutes in heaven, did all the different long actions you can do. But you have to do the short action, the quick action, before the long action. So I'm going to start off with Ranger Sandy, and they give you this pretty sweet gauge. It's very similar to the gauge that came with Lunar, which I like. This one I like this one more than the one from Lunar, because this one kind of reminds me of like a cleaver, and I think that was the intention, and I enjoy it. Oh, look at that. Yeah, just like it. It's good design. So I'm not within 4 inches of that fright token, so I'm not going to take an extra tear. I am going to double move to here. That's too far. To here. I'm good there, but I'm pretty sure that I came within 2 inches on this side, so we'll do a jump scare right there. And they provide us a handy dandy chart for that jump scare. This is a D10 roll. I get a 1, which is lunge. Place the killer in base-to-base contact with the character and make an attack with attack 2. If the killer is already in base-to-base with the character or supporting character, place a fright token in base-to-base with the character instead. If the character is in a light token, the character is still placed, killer is still placed, but will not target the character. Any ranged attacks can still target characters outside of the light. Make an attack with combat 2, which he luckily whiffs. No damage taken. I'm going to activate Miss Denise DeGraw next. She's going to do 2 quick actions. She's going to try to use her daddy's cell phone. So I need a 6+ on a D20. And that's a 9. So what I get to do there is place a supporting character within her board section. So here it says there's a contradiction of rules because her rule says place it in her board section, and the plot rule says place it at a point of interest. I am going to follow the plot rule because I think that's supposed to supersede. So Denise's sister, Genevieve de Graal, who's a bit of a hunter, is going to show up here. The game comes with some tokens for the supporting characters, but I couldn't find them right away, and I didn't want to burn a bunch of time looking for them. So I just grabbed a model that kind of fits within the appearance of the genre, and we're going to go with that. Genevieve is a bit of a hunter, so she has shown up, and she will be sitting right there by the well. We use one of the 2 battery charges on Denise's cell phone. Next, we'll activate Holden, who will also take a point of terror for being in line of sight, and he's going to move and shoot at a penalty. Combat 12, it's going to be -5 because the killer is engaged with Ranger Sandy. So I'm looking for a 7 or less. Oh, that'll hit for D5 on the shotgun. Be a big number. 8. So that'll be 4, which will be reduced. He'll take 2 damage. That's the most I've dealt to him in all of my plays. Is going to move, and because he has a terror token from starting in line of sight of the killer, he has to take a trip test. So on a 1 here, he would fall down. That's a 7. We're good. We go to turn 2, and we do not roll for fright tokens because we got a 2, and on turn 2, we needed a 6+. So we're going to start. Then we go, all right, so then the light will flip back on in the camp. We don't have to generate any fright tokens right now, but we do have a killer. So right now, because there's a supporting character, that is the priority target for the killer. So the killer will move D10 inches towards that. 10 inches to right there. And it doesn't have range to attack, so it will come to me. So I'm going to start with Ranger Sandy, who's going to get 2 terror tokens when she activates. 1 for being within 4 inches of a fright, and 1 for having the killer in her line of sight, because he's within 11, which is her awareness. Your awareness is how far you can see, basically. So he is within her awareness. She is going to move 4. To right there, and then take a shot at combat 15. That'll hit and deal 1 damage to Grace. Seth is going to double move. Now he does have to see if he falls down. He does not. He also has to make a jump scare. 6 tap on the shoulder, so Sandy will go to base with him. It does not trigger jump scares for Holden. Will not take any terror points when he activates because he is out of his awareness from that, so not in line of sight, and he was outside of 4 of that fright token. He would have had to take a jump scare when he moved through here. However, he has an ability that allows him to ignore a jump scare. He can do it for himself, or he can do it for someone else within 8, which will bring us to Denise. Denise will double move up. Got to see if she falls down and trips. She does not. The fright phase of turn 3. So we'll check to see if we do stuff with fright tokens yet. On a 5+, I think that will do it. That'll do it. 5+ will do it. So we'll start with this fright token. 3, it just flips lights within 6 inches. This one, 10. So that will trigger another roll. Normally that would reveal the killer, but since the killer is already revealed, we roll a D10. And we're looking for his injuries or less to be stalking. So it's not. So he becomes enraged. And when that happens, he hits a critical now on a 1, 2, or 3 instead of just on a. For that last fright token, which is a 3, remove the token and flip all lights with it. That's not correct because that fright token would have been removed by that supporting character. We'll go to the killer phase, where the killer is going to move towards his priority target. 2 inches. Does not give him range to get to him. Awesome. More fun for me. So we are going to activate Seth, who, let me check. There was one more fright token to roll for. I forgot about that one. 9, that would be another check for the killer, which would have put him to stalking instead, which means he would have, before movement, he would have flipped to behind her, but he won't attack this turn. I think I'm doing that correctly. If I only should have done that once per turn, I can't find it in the book anywhere. So I guess because I rolled it again, we do it again. He's going to move 3 and then use his flashlight to place a light token right underneath himself and hopefully underneath the rest of the group. That will remove a terror from Seth. Next, we're going to go with her, who's going to probably double move to there. And we'll take our test to see if we fall down. We do not. East will gain 1 terror for starting near the fright token and then double move to here. We got to take a test. And this test is, again, you're rolling to see if you roll your number of fright tokens or less, then you fall down. Otherwise, we'll gain a terror for the fright token up there. And he will make it into the light. And he does not fall down on an 18. Outstanding. Killer wasn't going to attack this turn, that's why we skipped that. So we'll go to turn 4. Roll for our fright tokens. We do not do anything with them because I needed a 4-up on turn 4. We will move so the on. Killer will now attack that target. He hits and deals 3 injuries, which will take that supporting character out of play. At that point, the killer will be removed from the table to savor the moment. It will return according to its MO at the beginning of the next turn. And then the lights will turn off. So we go to the character phase. I'm going to get some terror. Closer inspection, only Sandy is apparently out of her jurisdiction. Sandy Let me double check. Out. These 3 are just right in the farthest corner of that quadrant. Denise is going to move now that the light's out. We got a jump scare to deal with right there. 3 ball light token. So this light turns back on. That's really, really, really good for me. That works out really, really well. So now we'll go to, oh wait, and she's got with her second action, she's going to try to use Daddy's cell phone again, which she does. And we're going to put another supporting character, I guess. Now we can do both because we can put it in her section and at a point of interest. So I guess we'll put it right there. Second thought, I'm actually going to adjust my movement just a little bit so that I can put it right there. And then, because that way when the killer comes, it's going to come stalking that supporting character, and I have a more open line to bring everybody else. This light is still on, and everybody's going to be activating inside the light. Nobody will gain any terror at the start of their turn this turn. So we're going to go with Sandy. And Sandy's going to make a double move up to the gate right here. We'll check to see if she falls down. As soon as I find my D20. She does not fall down. So she's good. Denise is gone. Holden is going to move up, ignore the jump scare right there. Move up to here. And then use a long action to reload his shotgun with 1 ammo. Seth is then going to move, and I had Seth's movement wrong in the beginning. I apologize for that. He has a movement of 3, not 4, like everybody else. Seth is then going to use the second battery in his flashlight, second battery charge, to place a light token right there. And get rid of that fright token. Well, maybe right there is better. So it's just slightly under the truck. Yeah, that's better. So we'll go to turn 5. And we'll check for the fright tokens. On a 4, yes. Yes, we will. So we'll start with this one back here. It'll move 6 inches towards the closest character. That is a 3. Which will just be flip for this one, which will just be flip the lights within 6, and there are no lights within 6 of it. So we'll go to Killer, who will come in according to its MO. and close to the center against him. Come in right there, looking to get at this other sister. We'll roll his movement. 2. So that 2 inches, though, however, I believe will get him, yes, to where he needs to be. And we'll see if he hits. Looking for a 15 or less. That is actually a miss. He actually does not hit. Awesome. Because that gives me pretty much guaranteed another turn of running away. We're just playing a distraction here. We're just trying to keep him dealing with cannon fodder while we try to make our exit. So I'm going to activate Ranger Sandy, who is going to take a tear. And then she's going to move through the gate to here into the light. She's going to lose that tear. And she's going to investigate this point. This is 11. I failed. I'm not able to search anything. Everybody else is just going to be moving up. I may have to make some checks. So these two managed to double move onto here without falling down. Denise is going to move once and take a breath, getting an 18. Never mind. Correction, there is no roll to make there. I just removed token. So I'm going to gain a terror token when she activates and then move and then remove that terror token, basically. Which does it for me. So we'll go to turn 6 on. We always roll for fright tokens. So we'll start with this one, which is a 10. So we'll see what the killer does. He is going to be enraged when he attacks here this turn. We'll roll for the one underneath her. That's a 9. And now he's going to be stalking. So he will just snap right where he was, and he won't attack this turn. Awesome. Thank you, Dice Gods. Lights turn off, however. Sandy is going to double move. Right there. See if she falls down. She does not. Seth is going to move up, give himself +2 to his awareness, and try to investigate. He is successful at his investigation. I think at this point I can choose an item or I can choose to remove 2 terror tokens. I think I'm going to choose to remove the 2 terror tokens because he's a bit of a scaredy cat. Anyways, Holden will take a terror and he's going to double move. Right there. And we'll see if he falls down. He does not. And then we've got Denise, who's going to double move. Right there. See if she falls down. She does not. With a third turn, 7. Let's roll for some fright tokens. So for this one, 2. That is, I think it just goes away and we flip that light token, flips on. We'll go to this fright token. That's a 4. So it'll move 6. Oh, wait, never mind. Never mind. There wouldn't even be a fright token underneath her because she's a supporting character and she removes them. Forgot about that. Then we go to Killer. Killer will swing and hit for 3 damage, which will remove that supporting character, and the Killer will step away to savor the moment. During my activation, everybody moves up. Double moves, nobody falls down. We'll go to turn 8. I couldn't get into the 4x4 with one single movement and make the awareness check, so I just double moved everybody up to the edge of the road, and we'll make our... We currently have no fright tokens, so we should have placed one last time in B and C. So same... Nope, because that would have... Because there were fright tokens during the fright phase. Yes, there was one, so we will place one this time. So it's in B and C, so one there, and then the Killer will come. The Killer comes back on here, and it's going to be moving towards Seth. 7 inches. Seth has no terror tokens, so just 7. He's got combat 14, 15. Hits will deal 3 damage to Seth. Brings it to me. I'm going to concentrate with Sandy. Yes, I'm going to concentrate with Ranger Sandy, and I'm going to try to flag down a car. So I got +3 to this roll with the concentrate, taking me to an 18. that is success. We have flagged down a car right as the killer caught up to us, and we are going to get out of here alive. I managed to keep everybody alive. I got pretty this is my first time playing with Denise, and that whole place a supporting character thing is pretty strong. That's really good because it allows you a lot of control over where the killer is going to do, because it says that the supporting characters are always the priority target for the killer. So that worked out really, really well. Thanks so much for stopping by, hanging out while we escape these terrorized, murderous camping grounds. I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. And as always, I'd like to say a big, huge, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to our patrons who support us and pledge to us over on Patreon. You guys are the absolute best. If you enjoyed the content you saw here today and that's something that you would like to consider doing to help out the channel, go over there, check out the link in the description, check out the Patreon. There's a lot of cool stuff over there, including access to our Discord server, talk to me, hang out with me, talk about our work, what we got going on in the hobby, some shout outs, all kinds of cool stuff. Check it out if that's something that you think you would be into. And regardless of whether or not you do that, I want you to know that I am incredibly grateful that you decided to stop by and spend part of your day with me today, rolling dice and pushing toy soldiers around. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, may the dice be ever in your favor.